and for those of you that are listening from afar, I just got the word we have at least 2 directors that are having birthdays today, so darn, we could have really had a good time here. But I bet they're having a good time wherever they are. And so welcome, I'm glad you're here, and we've got a few people listening as well. And as you can tell by the traffic, we're not going to have as many people here right now, which is heavenly. It's like the good old days. I remember from long ago. It's very mellow out there right now, at least my part of in the area. I hope it has been for everybody. Okay, so today I wanted to introduce, well, at least one of them is present here. We the breakfast, those of you that weren't at the breakfast, we have 2 new directors that we're really happy to have, and both with different really excellent talents that they're bringing to us. And one of them is Nikki Watson, she's right there. And the other one is Donna Claghorn, and she's one of the birthday girls, so I guess she's listening, right? Did you do that on your birthday? Maybe. To be honest with you all, many years ago, when I was first a member of this and I was supposed to be on the board, I completely forgot about it and didn't show up. I don't know what was wrong with me. I guess I was still working at the time and I just didn't think of it. And I thought, that's not a good beginning, but I've tried to make up for it many times over, hopefully, over the years. Let's start with the sheriff's report because I know we've got a couple of months worth of good stuff, right? Come on up. Sergeant Daniel Smith.
I only brought May's with me. I didn't know.
That's okay.
I figured you guys went over the other one without me last month.
Well, maybe not.
All right, thank you very much. So I have with me the May report, so it covers May 1st through the 31st, 2024. During that time, there were 392 calls for service on Siesta Key. 18 incidents, or 5% of the total calls, were a persons or property crime classified under NIRS, which is the FBI tracking stats. Those were 2 aggravated assaults, 9 simple assault, 2 vehicle burglaries, 1 felony criminal mischief, 1 fraud, 1 bicycle theft, 1 petty theft of an auto part, and 1 petty theft of shop. The assault incidents were were most frequently reported with 11. Arrests were made in 6 of those cases, and suspects were known to the victims in 5 of those cases. One of the vehicle burglaries was reported at a beach access. The vehicle was left unsecured and the wallet was stolen. So I say it every time I'm here. Every single time, broken record, just make sure you're locking your vehicles, Don't leave anything in plain view that's of value, lock in the trunk or take it with you. Make sure you're locking the vehicles and not leaving the keys or anything of value in them. The second vehicle burglary occurred during the same incident as one of the aggravated assaults, in which case an arrest was made. The criminal mischief incident involved.
I'll get him. Just a minute.
After dispute.
Okay, let Nanny have that. Oh wait. No. Here, let me have these. Those are for Bobby.
Another birthday.
She just got on.
It's her son.
Here.
Go ahead.
In the reported theft incidents, alcohol was shoplifted, a license plate was removed from a golf cart, and an unsecured bicycle was stolen. He's located the stolen bicycle and returned it. I'll go over a few of, because since there were 392 calls, it seems like a lot. There were 35 alarms, 16 animal services calls, 22 assist other agencies, so fire department or anything like that. 23 disturbances, 18 illegal parking, 47 officer public service calls, 34 suspicious incidents, 29 suspicious persons, 21 traffic property damage calls, and that's the majority of the bulk of all calls. Does anybody have any specific questions on any of these calls or anything that happened on this report?
No injuries?
No injuries. Memorial Day was a good weekend. It went by really well, and Memorial Day itself, Monday, which is usually the busiest day of the weekend, was actually mild compared to the last couple of years that we've seen. So it was really nice this year. Yes.
The petty theft of an auto part,
Mhm.
was that what was that exactly? Was
I
that-
don't know. So a lot of times the crime analyst has to leave this sort of vague if it's an active investigation or if it's still moving parts. So they don't provide me with all the information on it in case it's still active or, I can look it up for you and let you know. Do you have any information on it
I
or?
was just wondering, I mean, you keep seeing in the news that they keep stealing the catalytic converters or whatever for their.
I don't think that was this.
It's-
I think it was
That's what I
unrelated
was
to
wondering.
that sort of cyclical
You
crime.
guys had seen that here.
Question,
Yep.
the 60 point shooting, the person, two people, a person was shot and the other person that was the shooter killed himself. So that happened last night on 60 point.
I don't have any information on that.
Well, it happened last night on 60 point road, in condos right by coast. It was the boyfriend of the woman
Okay,
who had anger issues and shot her and then killed himself.
yeah, I
9
have
o'clock last night.
no information on that. I'm sure it's still ongoing active investigation.
But just in case that would come up.
I wanted to just make a request because we had a couple of people phone in and write to us as well about incidents on Midnight Pass. And
Okay.
these are areas on South Midnight Pass. And I
Mhm.
guess what they're talking about is there's been a lot of dangerous efforts to pass on that road when there's a lot of landscape trucks, a lot of
Mhm.
construction. And they have been really worried and there's some near misses. And I
Sure.
didn't know if there's any kind of they wanted to know if anyone's doing any special observation
Well-
there in terms of safety.
It's tough down there, especially with how much lawn crew services go down there frequently. And it's one of those things where everybody has to kind of get on board. If nobody wants anybody parking on the road doing the lawn care, they need to have them pull into their driveway or their house to be able to do that. Everybody down there calls the lawn services to come down and do the lawn services and the construction, and they don't have them park anywhere but on the road. So it's the citizens down there that are utilizing these services need to allow them to park in their driveway then.
One of the biggest issues is I guess there are a fair amount of rentals, but there's some large garbage bins that stick out into the road and you know how narrow it is, and especially with the sidewalk, there's not very much room. And I'm wondering if there is any way to ask the people who are doing the garbage pickup to ask them to keep the bins not in the road because they're waiting for the trucks to arrive. But in the meantime, there's all the other things going on. I don't know how far out they're supposed to be.
Yeah, and then that's not really a law
That's not
enforcement
what you would
issue.
do.
No, I mean, I know the arm of the truck grabs the trash and brings it up and wherever it slams it down is kind of where it goes. The homeowners need to come up and get their trash cans.
All right.
Something to say.
Yes, sir.
I was gonna actually answer the question. You can email Brian Usher, Director of Solid Waste, and tell him that the issue with leaving the dumpsters on the side of the road, and he'll get a hold of Waste Management and have them do something about it.
Yeah, it does sound like it's been very risky down there. I've been there only a couple of times, but there's just a lot going on and
Copy me on the email.
I will do that. I will do
Somehow it
that
gets more attention.
when I send it, right? I will do that. There's one more thing. I know. Well, and is Waste Management still our guys
For another year.
for one more year? Okay. Well, they've been pretty good. I have to say, I'm sorry to see them go. We've had
Well,
good
they're
service.
drivers.
so.
But no, they'll be rehired by Waste Pro or whoever state.
Okay, I kind of worried about that a little bit. I
Don't worry
wondered,
about
yeah.
that. They'll be-
Okay, well, that's good to know, because I've been real happy with them in our area, but we have a little more latitude. And I'm wondering too, I have one other question, and that has to do with the electric vehicles, the little go-karts. People call them golf carts, but we've had more actually incidents I've witnessed of what I would call severely underage children
Mhm.
driving them.
Yeah,
I'm talking 11 years old, 12 years old.
It definitely happens.
I don't know, would you like for people to phone those license tags in because they may be owned
Sure,
by
and we can
someone?
contact the rental company or the owner of them. More, that is definitely a parental issue.
It is.
But it can be a law enforcement issue as well, where, licensed drivers that are of age need to be operating their vehicles on the roadway for sure. So, yeah, absolutely, and anything like that can always be phoned in
Right.
and, a license plate provided, and if it's a rental company, it's easy to follow up on, and the rental companies we speak to frequently about making sure they're reiterating the rules and going over the rules with people that are renting them, make sure they're not driving on the beach, driving past the barriers, driving south on Midnight Pass and the north end. So they should be providing all that info to the renters. But there's been plenty of times where we've stopped kids or after the crashes and the parents come up and they're like, oh, what happened? Well, you let an 11-year-old drive a golf cart.
Exactly, yeah.
So, but yeah, absolutely, phone those things in. I encourage you, if you guys see something, and I say this a lot too, other than lock your vehicles. If you see something, say something, see something suspicious, report it, call it in. There might not be somebody else that's willing to call in and report it. I encourage you guys to call things in and report them, when it's happening. Not the next day or further on down the road, because when it's happening is when we can get out there and try to make a difference. Yes, sir, you had a question?
I do have a question. So what does happen to the parents of these 11, 12, 13-year-olds who are driving these golf carts to these sites? Did anything happen to them?
If we write a ticket, they're gonna have to pay it. Though, a lot of times the golf cart rental company will take the golf cart back and they won't get their money back for violating their agreement with the rental company.
Nothing happens to the parent license and company.
No. They'll have to pay a ticket. If there's a ticket written, then they'll have to face that, but are you talking about criminal charges?
No.
No, because they're not driving it, they're not, I can't cite really the parents for a traffic violation that they're not committing.
Yeah.
So it has to go really to the driver.
It's not any different than an 11-year-old driving someone's car. I mean, when they register a vehicle with a car.
It's a criminal charge, but I'm not gonna take an 11-year-old to jail.
I understand that. No, I'm not talking about the 11-year-old, I'm talking about the parent.
Right, but it's the same thing, if their 11-year-old was driving a car, if they crashed or something like that, and there was an injury or something like that, and the parents were knowledgeable of that, and an investigation, concluded that they had knowledge of it, there could be, some negligent charge that could go to the parents, but for driving a golf cart and stopping it, and the parent comes out and say, oh, he took the key and just left. There's no charges or anything that I could write to the parents in that specific scenario. I mean, having to pay a ticket if we write it to the kid or losing their golf cart and the money that they put into it is usually a pretty good punishment. Cause I'm sure it costs a decent amount to rent them, depending on how long you rent it for, and they'll just take it back from them. They won't give them any money back. They'll take it back and they'll lose it for whatever period of time they were here, a week vacation or 4 days, however long it is.
There's one fellow in the back there too.
I think the reason that you had such a successful Memorial Day is you really had a show of force. They were everywhere, and that was good to be complimented for that.
Thank you, appreciate it. Yeah, we try to continue having increased numbers out here, especially at Access 2 with our TAC unit. They did a great job of holding that area down, because that's usually where the kids like to flock to. And with all those guys down there, they see it and they decide to go somewhere else, and they can't conjugate and get those huge groups. So appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we really do appreciate that.
I was wondering if you could get the county to put some signs up. It's really a problem with these golf carts. Running down Midnight Pass Road, it seems like, and they go so slow, there's 10 cars behind them, and then people try to pass.
Yeah, there's signs right down on
Say
the,
no golf carts?
yes, it says no low speed vehicles beyond this
Up
point.
here, I'm talking about this end of Midnight Pass.
Oh, on that end, I don't think
Yeah,
there are,
There aren't.
but
And a couple times I've seen like cars get ready to pass and all of a sudden there's a golf cart, you
Yeah.
can't see it,
mhm.
and,
Yeah, it's a constant enforcement issue with us with
then I see him taking it and driving all the way over the CSDP bridge.
Yeah.
He's really-
And that's rules of the road and knowledge of the laws of the road and things like that. There can't really be a sign for every traffic infraction and things like that, you know, goes back to it's a low-speed vehicle and they need to know that it's gotta be in a 35 or under. You know, signs, I've asked the county before for some additional signs, but there's a large process behind that and things that I'm not aware of.
Okay, I just saw, you know, no golf carts in this road.
Yeah, they should know as operators of that vehicle that it can't go in anywhere over 35.
I even see some of these, you know, the Johnny Freeze and stuff, you know, they have the golf carts and pick up people and,
Oh, yeah,
I mean, those guys.
they should absolutely know that they can't
They're
be.
like the bigger violators, and I mean, you know, there's back ways around to get to where you're going,
Mhm.
I mean. if
Some of
you
the places, yeah.
want to Get the Commonwealth, you can go around, you know, through the village, and then, you know, so you can stay off the road.
Yeah, they should, and especially the rides that are out here all the time, they should definitely know. And we have stopped them before and had some conversations. For sure.
What you need is more women like me and a few of my neighbors. When we see them, we run between the streets and say, just a minute, and we tell them, where's your mother? You know, just do a neighborly adult thing, and that, they look really surprised, actually. They really do. I don't think they expect to be on vacation with any adults asking them questions.
Yeah,
You know, and I say, where are you from? Are you down there? You know, and they, and it's, sometimes it is what you're saying. It's actually just being a person that's concerned and mentioning to them, gee, you know, you have to have a driver's license or have, you know, you say these things, they go, oh. And sometimes I do believe they don't know.
and
so that's-
also, and for traffic violations and things like that, where it comes to pulling someone over and detaining them on a traffic violation, I have to have a traffic violation.
Yeah.
I can't pull a golf cart over just for the appearance of somebody appears to be young.
Right.
Obviously, if it's somebody that looks 9, that's a different story. But if it's somebody right there, you know, in that age where they could be 18, they could be 14, I can't tell. I can't just pull that golf cart over and take away somebody's freedom of movement on a suspicion. I have to have a traffic violation to be able to pull somebody over.
That is my question. Is the law that you're supposed to be 16 and a licensed driver to drive a golf cart here?
I did look this up because there was a question last time, and the rules on that changed. But to drive on the road, yes, you have to have a driver's license. They're registered motor vehicles, and to be operating on the roadway, you have to have a driver's license. There's different rules for golf carts, because there's, in the statutes, there's golf carts, and then there's low-speed vehicles. So the low-speed vehicles are the ones that are registered, they're on the roadway, they're allowed to be in a 35-mile-an-hour zone or below. So then there's the golf carts, which in the gated communities that are all gated golf cart communities, those are golf carts that can ride on the roadways without registration and all that stuff. So there's different rules for that. I think at one point in time, it was younger for kids on those, but I think that did change, but I'm not 100% sure on what that rule is. But for any motor vehicles on the roadway, anything we have out here that's a registered motor vehicle with a license plate, you gotta have a driver's license.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I go by. All right, we're gonna, oh, sorry, go ahead, Bill.
Okay, there was a drowning at Turtle Beach in the last 2 weeks.
Mhm.
Is what part does the sheriff's department take part in that? And is there any talk about the lifeguard situation that Turtle Beach? And how
I don't have any information on that.
Mhm.
So the sheriff's office conducts the investigation into a death, like any other death in the county, but other than that, I have zero information on that case.
Will they bring lifeguards down to Turtle Beach? Is that going to ever have lifeguards?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Now, that might be, I'm just guessing, emergency services probably, don't they get hired under emergency management?
The
for
lifeguards
beach?
are under the fire department's chain of
Yes,
command.
okay,
Mhm.
that's what I thought. All right,
Yes.
great. All right, well, we're gonna let you go. Thank you. It's good to see you.
Thank
And
you very much.
thank you. Take care. Would you like to come up now, Vern?
Vern, would you like to come up?
We have a code enforcement officer who may have some new news. And it's good to see you back.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Vern.
May's code enforcement investigations were a little slow, time of year where it slows down, but we had 7 reported short-term rental violations. I was able to notify the owners and bring all the properties into compliance. Several of them were new homeowners from out of state. They didn't know our codes, the 30-day minimum. So what I do is when I send them notices of violations, I also give them our county code PDF, and I email that to them so they know. And so far, those 7 have remained in compliance. We've had 3 trash bin violations where people are putting their trash bins out earlier than 5 p.m. before the scheduled day pickup and leaving them out after 10 a.m. the day after scheduled day pickup. Notify them. That's happening also with the short-term rentals. Vacationers leave on a Sunday, the cleaning crew goes in on Monday and puts the trash out Monday night. But here, trash pickup is Wednesday and it can't go out any earlier than 5 p.m. Tuesday. So that's been happening a lot. So I've been sending out notices of violations for that, and they've all been corrected. And as far as signs in the right of way, this month, well, in the month of May, I removed 36 signs from the right of way here on the Keep. So that's it for May. That
What
hasn't-
kind of signs are most prevalent?
You know, like pressure washing and signs for new roofs and stuff like
Okay,
that. So
so
they,
services.
just the push-in signs in the right of way. They increased a little bit this month, so we removed them. And the owners have the opportunity, we keep them for 10 days. And the owners of the sign have the opportunity to purchase them back prior to the 10 days. That never happens, so.
Great.
Yeah.
Anybody have other questions? I know we've had a lot of people asking about short-term rentals and you'll probably hear more about
Yeah.
them over time.
Yeah.
But that's good to hear that at least there's some people in the neighborhoods who are trying to take care of the neighborhoods. That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good. Anybody have questions at all? Wow.
Okay, well,
Okay, then thank you so
thank you. Have a
much
good night.
for today.